All right. Oh, yeah. And have we got a bird of the day for you all today? Hey, no, it's not SpongeBob SquarePants. It's not SpongeBob SquarePants. It's time for bird of the day. Carvis Twigs, bird of the day. Wow, this is a great one. This is a great one. It's one that, well, it's the 5th of December, and I've already gotten a lot of requests for it this month. So I figure, you know what? People want to see this bird. I'm going to do this bird. What bird am I talking about? Well, today's bird of the day is the snowy owl. Oh, yeah. We got the whitest of all owls. Look at those yellow golden eyes. And his beautiful white feathers with the little darker stripes flying through the air. Oh, yeah. We love the snowy owl. The snowy owl is a cool owl. So the snowy owl is also known as the Arctic owl, the polar owl, or the white owl. Its taxonomical name is the Buboscandiacus, which roughly translates to Scandinavian owl. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Of course, they are in the strigiforms, which all owls are. And strigidae means that it is a classic owl, or true owl, as they refer to, rather than a barn owl. And as far as owls go, they're pretty big. 20, 28 inches with a wingspan that's over 5 feet. Quite common. Well, maybe not quite 5 feet now. 60 inches is 5 feet, but almost 5 feet. It's big. 4 to 5 foot wingspan. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. And an interesting thing about them is their weight. 56 to 104 ounces. So they are only the 6th largest species of owl. However, they are the heaviest species of owl. And the reason for all that weight is because they have more and thicker feathers than any other kind of owl. Very thick feathers. Can you imagine why would an owl that, as you can see, lives pretty much in Canada, Scandinavian countries, and Russia, why would an owl that lives in the Arctic Circle need a lot of feathers? Well, of course we know. It's anybody can figure that out. It's to keep warm. Gotta have big, thick feathers, help insulate against all that cold. The area that you see down there in the light blue, that's kind of where their year-round is, and it's where they do a lot of their breeding. And the dark blue areas, it's where you're really only going to see them in the warmer months, and kind of where I like to hang out. As far as a bird goes, or a wild bird, 10 years in the wild isn't too bad, but up to 30 in captivity, so pretty typical of the bird of prey or for owls. So pretty standard lifespan. As most birds of prey, most owls, most hawks, falcons, and that the females are larger than the males. And the interesting case is that if you see one that is almost purely white, it's probably a male. But if you see one that's got the, those like little brown and blackish little stripes across them, that one's probably going to be a female. So yeah, if you happen to see that, then you know. Are you guys hearing the music? I'm not hearing the music. Why am I not hearing the music? Is it not playing? Is it not looped? It is not looped. There we go. It's okay. Late music is better than no music. I hadn't clicked loop, and so when it was playing earlier, it just stayed stopped. That's okay. Anyway, yeah. So if you see, like the one that's pictured here, that is probably a female. Because it's got all those extra bits on the wings and stuff. Now, that is the typical case, but it isn't always true. Sometimes males do have that patterning on them, and sometimes females, especially older females tend to be more likely to become pure white. Yeah. Yeah, I'm turning it down. That seemed a little loud too. Just having all sorts of music issues today, aren't we? Okay, so again, pictured here, probably a female. One of the interesting thing is that unlike most owl species, the snow owl is an active hunter in both day and night. The only times that they really don't do much hunting during the day is during the winter months when the daytime is very, very short. But during the spring, summer, and fall, yeah, plenty of sunlight out, they'll go hunting. Why not? Blend right in with the snow. Why not? So yeah, they do hunt at night as well. They just they hunt both night and day. Now, one of the interesting things about these birds is that they are very nomadic. You saw that range on there? Well, a snowy owl could hit that entire range in its whole life. And yeah, they've been known to cross the Bering Strait and go from Russia to Canada, and yeah, they like to move around, and they rarely will nest in the same spot twice. You know, like to switch it up a bit. Yeah, switch it up a bit. And they'll, they tend to end up nesting in places so basically they fly around a lot, they explore areas, and if they find a place where there's lots of good, abundant food, that's where they'll end up nesting. Because they know that, hey, once you nest, once you lay all those eggs, you're gonna be here for a while. So if they're unable to find a spot that they think is nice and safe, then they are going to probably move on and not have babies that year. So yeah, if they're not gonna do it. Now they end up having more eggs per nest than most birds do. You know, most birds you're gonna have 2 to 5, probably is about the average. Well, snow owls can have, 6 is kind of on the lower range of them, up all the way up to 15. Like 15 eggs, like 15 babies. Now they do not keep the same mate. These are not lifelong mating pair birds. They will switch it up from season to season. However, if a male does happen to fertilize some eggs, dad's gonna stick around and help raise the babies. Once the babies are born, mama stays in the nest while dad goes out hunting. And dad goes and he gathers up a bunch of food and he brings it back to the nest. So he feeds not only the babies, but he feeds his girlfriend. And so that way the dad's helping out, keeping everybody fed. So that's pretty nice. Usually takes a good while before the little fledglings are going to be big enough to go out on their own. They take a little longer to grow up and become self-sustaining. Usually about 9 months or so, which is actually kind of long for a bird. But once they do, they go out and they find, especially in the colder winter months, young owls that have left the nest. Once they leave the nest, they will go and kind of form little small flocks of young owls. Once they get older and a little bit bigger and more self-sustaining, then they go off on their own. But young ones that have just left the nest end up banding together, making little teenage gangs. Which, if you remember, ravens do that too. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's kind of neat. But yeah, after the mating season's done, male and the female will split off, and next year they'll find themselves a new mate. And but yeah, during the winter months, it can be kind of harsh, tough to eat. So these birds kind of smart. Rather than just hope for the best hunt every day, when the going is good, they'll gather up some food, and they'll stick it in their nests, which are in the ground, and they'll cover it in snow. Because, of course, these are very Arctic birds. So they've been smart enough to realize that, hey, you keep something packed in snow, it stays frozen, and it stays good for a long time. So they've learned to refrigerate their food for later. And it's pretty smart. Pretty smart for an owl. And so, I always like to go over, do they nest in legs in the short summer? Yes, they do. So kind of in springtime. It's usually Usually they'll start nesting around the kind of around the equinox in the spring. Lay their eggs. Only a couple weeks for them to incubate, and they hatch. And then usually it's about they'll stick with their parents basically until winter time, and then sometimes they stick around. Sometimes they go off on their own. But yeah, good question. Good question. And their favorite food is lemmings. Lemmings are interesting. Yeah, they're basically just kind of your normal cute little rodents. Not as suicidal as pop culture would make you think. Speaking of pop culture, I always do like to know the cultural references that are known for them. For example, they are the official bird of Quebec. Those Quebecy Canadians like to do it. And I'm sure you all know there was a snowy owl in some stupid book about a wizard. Yeah. So yeah, my thoughts on the snowy owl? Well, as far as owls go, I would have to say these are right at the top of it. Do I like the snowy owl better than the Eurasian eagle owl? Or the great horned owl? Oof, he's tough. He's only my third owl that I've covered on here. I've done the owls in Lord of the Rings. Were there owls in Lord of the Rings? I mean, Christopher Lee kind of looked like a snowy owl. Quebecois. It's French. But yeah. I mean, Christopher Lee as Saruman kind of looked like a snowy owl. A little bit. But yeah, yeah. So I really like the snowy owl. I think they're very pretty looking. They seem to be one of the smarter owls out there. I mean, owls aren't known to be super. I mean, okay, culturally, owls are known to be wise, but in reality, they're not the smartest birds. I mean, they're not dumb either. They're of middling intelligence as far as birds go. Yeah, they seem to be smarter compared to other owls, what with the whole understanding refrigeration and all that. And yeah, now they're considered threatened on the endangerment scale, and yeah, kind of interesting thing. They found that. I mean, it's not a single cause of death, but the vast majority of snowy owl deaths are human related. So whether it's straight up killed by a hunter, or they're often hit by vehicles, they've also been known to, be susceptible to pesticides that are used in fields and stuff in the summertime, or they get caught in other. Basically, human things end up killing more snowy owls than any other thing that's been observed by ornithologists. So that's, and of course, being the snowy owl, living in the northern snowy regions, the number one threat to the snowy owl is, of course, climate change. It's not good for them up there. So, hopefully their environment can stay preserved, because I think it would be sad to lose a pretty cool bird like the snowy owl. It's a pretty good bird. Top tier bird. Although, oh no. I mean, that can happen. Yeah, I mean, it was accidental. You're okay. It's sad. Maybe I'm just hoping that you ran into some sort of devilish imp that was flying overhead. Either way, I'm going to say, snowy owl, great bird. Great bird. I hope you like them. Look up some videos. They're pretty great. Lots of great pictures of them. You've probably seen this particular picture of this snowy owl before with a certain caption on it that I won't repeat. But you know what it says. You know what it says. Okay. That's enough for bird